What is going on, guys? Drop here, and after playing the Overwatch beta, I really fell in love with the game. It's truly like nothing I've ever played before, and I really struggle to find games to compare it to. Ones that come to mind are obviously Team Fortress, a game that I have played very little of, and Shadowrun, a game that I hear very little of. But that's really about it. And then we have Call of Duty, and I remember all those years ago playing Modern Warfare and feeling the same way. And that might seem like a really stupid thing to say, but when that game came out, it was so different from all the previous Call of Duties. Instead of another World War II army clone, we got an awesome game of the modern era, with red dot sights, and a sweet progression system, and of course, kill streaks. All things that are staples of the game today started with Call of Duty 4, and on top of that, it probably had one of, if not the best campaigns of the entire franchise. I mean, if you played the game, all I need to do is show you this picture and you already know. And that sort of brings me to the point of this video, why I think Call of Duty players might not like Overwatch. I know that's really generalizing the Call of Duty community, but I think really we all have an idea in our minds of a certain type of gamer when we say the average Call of Duty player. Even though, of course, that's not fair, as all sorts of people love Call of Duty. It's just that many of us that grew up playing the games have started to notice how they all seem to kind of blur together, at least recently, and have moved on to different things. And so, what I'm about to say about Call of Duty could really be said for almost all first-person shooters. It's simply that Call of Duty has a much larger player base than most, and therefore has many more players like this. And that type of player is someone who just goes for kills. And a player that refuses to play the objective and just go for kills has no place in Overwatch. We need assault players to keep the pressure on, sure, but if you're camping, trying to get scraps, and ignoring your team and the enemy tank who's walking the payload to the objective, then you are playing the game wrong. So I guess the reason I feel this is way more relevant for Call of Duty players is simply because if you're good, it's very easy to go it alone and almost single-handedly win the game. You can play solo and still do well even if the rest of your team absolutely sucks, which is much less true for something like Halo or Battlefield, where you have more health and a much harder time taking on 2 or more enemies on your own. And then we have the crazy fanboys that think Call of Duty is life. And honestly, it's kind of funny. This weekend, after playing the open beta for Overwatch, I was so pumped and so hyped, so I went and I told my younger brother to try it. His response was simply, "It's too futuristic." "It's too futuristic," he said. And yes, he loves Call of Duty. So apart from people not liking Overwatch because it may be too team-oriented for them, others simply are not willing to go out of their comfort zone and try it, which is a real shame. Just for the record, I love Call of Duty. It's one of the games where early on I shared some amazing gaming moments with my friends and really solidified my love for this medium. So those are simply my foolish thoughts. Selfish players really won't get the point of Overwatch if they don't open their minds a little. But what do you think? I'd love to know. Please leave your comments down below. That's gonna be all for this video though, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next chapter.